Hi everybody, it's Miss Patti from the Farmington Library Children's Department. I hope you all are doing well. Today I want to tell you a story, and this story is based on an idea from a book called Toddlers Storytime 2 by Diane Briggs, and we have it here in our library. So today's story is about two friends, and all we need to tell this story are our hands. So if you want to do this with your child, and then repetition is wonderful, and if you do it over and over again, the children will learn how to do the motions along with the story. And feel free to adapt this story any way you like. So to start out, we have two friends, Mr. Wiggle and Mr. Waggle. And Mr. Wiggle and Mr. Waggle lived in almost identical houses. They both open their doors the same way. They both go inside the same way. And then they both shut the doors behind them the same way. One day, Mr. Wiggle decided to go visit his friend, Mr. Waggle. So Mr. Wiggle opened his door, he went outside, and he closed the door behind him. And then to get to Mr. Wiggle's house, he had to go up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill and up the hill until he got to Mr. Waggle's house. And when he got there, he knocked on the door. There was no answer. So he knocked again. Still no answer. So he called out, "Oh, Mr. Waggle, are you home?" Still nothing. So Mr. Wiggle decided to go back home. To do that, he had to go back up the hill and down the hill and 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 up the hill until he got back to his own house. So he was so tired. He opened the door, he went inside, and he shut the door behind him, and he went to sleep. The very next day, Mr. Waggle decided he'd like to go visit his friend, Mr. Wiggle. So he opened his door, he went outside, he shut the door behind him, and then he headed over to Mr. Wiggle's house. To do that, he had to go up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill and up the hill until he got to Mr. Wiggle's house. When he got there, he knocked on the door. And he waited. No answer. So he knocked a little louder. Still no answer. So he called out to his friend, "Oh, Mr. Wiggle, are you home?" Nothing but silence. So Mr. Waggle said, "I guess I'll go back home." So he had to go up the hill and down the hill, and 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 up the hill to get back to his own house. And when he got there, he opened the door, he went inside, and he shut the door behind him. As it turns out, the very next day, both Mr. Waggle and Mr. Wiggle decided to go visit each other at the same time. So they both opened their doors at the same time, stepped outside at the same time, shut the doors behind them, and traveled to their friends' houses. They both went up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill and up until they met. They were so excited, they couldn't believe it. They hugged, and they hugged again, and they couldn't stop talking about their news and what they've been doing for the last few weeks. And then they played, and they rolled all the way down the hill, and they ran back up again, and they rolled down the hill, and they ran back up again. They had a wonderful time. And when it was time to say goodbye, they hugged again and promised to see each other soon. And then they both headed home. And to do that, they had to go up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill and up the hill to their own houses. When they got home, very tired. They opened their doors, they went inside, and they closed the doors behind them. And then they both decided that the next time that they wanted to visit, they would use the telephone. That's my story for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy repeating it with your family. Feel free to change the words, change the characters, add to it. You can do so much with that story. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.